A CIA agent suddenly notices a suspicious man secretly pouring an unknown liquid into a cocktail while the waiter is not paying attention. Right after that, the waiter brings the drink to their target. To prevent the target from passing out before they get any useful information, Susan quickly rushes over and warns her. Someone just slipped sleeping pills into her drink.
Because I think somebody just put a roofie in your cocktail.
Are you sure it wasn't you?
What? No, God, I would never.
Could you point the man out?
Well, he just kind of zipped out that door. He's wearing a purple bow tie.
The wealthy woman Raina does not fully believe what Susan says at first. She suspiciously calls over a bodyguard nearby, asks him to go outside and check whether Susan is telling the truth. Not long after the bodyguard leaves, he comes back and tells her they really did catch a suspicious man at the entrance.
It seems they may have found him. Would you come with me to identify him?
Yes, of course. I'm happy to help.
Only then, Susan realizes the men in black who appear to be just dining nearby are actually all Raina's bodyguards. After that, Raina takes the man to the entrance and questions him whether he tampered with her juice, but the man refuses to admit it no matter what. Raina does not want to waste time arguing with him. She directly tells him to drink the juice to prove his innocence. Seeing that he still refuses to cooperate, the truth is already obvious. Raina immediately leans close to the man's ear. No one knows what she whispered to him, but the man eventually takes the cup and drinks it all.
Scrumptious. So, joke's on you.
The next second, the man's throat suddenly starts melting away. Susan is so terrified that she faints on the spot, but her act of standing up for someone impresses Raina. So Raina invites her to have a meal together, and generously tells her not to hold back. She can order whatever she wants, but as a CIA agent, Susan has never been to such an upscale place before. She immediately gives herself away the moment she speaks.
I will have the Sapori a Delisi.
Right. That is the name of this restaurant.
Trying to hide her embarrassment, Susan asks the waiter to bring some signature dishes from the restaurant. The waiter quickly brings out a plate of appetizers. Luckily, Susan, who often browses the internet, immediately realizes this is not something to eat.
You know, I once saw someone eat one of these before.
Unexpectedly, what the waiter brought really is a dessert, not a compressed towel. This leaves Susan, who planned to pretend to be a high-class person, so she could stay close to her target Raina, completely speechless. At this point, she has no choice but to change her story. She lies that she comes from a remote small town, and spent all her savings just to travel to Rome. Unexpectedly, this story actually touches Raina. She waves her hand and says she is going to Budapest for a business deal next, and wants to take Susan along for some fun. Susan never expected the plan to go this smoothly. Of course, she cannot refuse such a perfect chance to get close to Raina, but what she never expected was the moment she steps onto Raina's private jet. Before she can even get comfortable, Raina knocks her out with a glass of juice. When Susan wakes up again, the plane is already flying high in the sky. Only then, Raina finally reveals her true identity. As the daughter of a powerful business family, many people try to get close to her, or even assassinate her. So to figure out Susan's identity and intentions, Raina used the juice to knock her unconscious, then searched through her belongings, but she discovers that Susan's bag contains nothing suspicious, only wipes for treating scabies, or spray for treating toenail fungus. There is no suspicious item at all, but no matter how careful you are, you can never guard against someone close to you. Raina never expects one of her own bodyguards suddenly pulls out a gun, kills another bodyguard, then points the weapon at her without hesitation. It turns out, the item Raina is going to trade in Budapest this time is a nuclear warhead. But just as the trader tries to force her to reveal where the item is hidden, the two pilots in the cockpit notice something is wrong. They immediately try to come out and stop the trader, but they are both shot dead by him. Seeing the situation getting completely out of control, the middle-aged woman quickly comes up with an idea. She grabs the wet wipes from her bag and throws them at the trader. Then she charges forward without hesitation, grabs the gun in his hand and starts fighting him. Raina never imagined that this seemingly harmless chubby woman could actually fight a professional killer back and forth, and even successfully knock the gun out of his hand. Taking this chance, she pulls out a whistle-shaped hidden weapon from her bag and takes the traitor down instantly. Then she quickly gets back up from the floor, runs straight into the cockpit without saying a word, and skillfully pulls the crashing plane back under control.
I know what to do! Good thing I learned to use that flight simulator app, huh?
At this point, if Raina still believes Susan is just an ordinary woman, she obviously will not believe it anymore. Seeing that her disguise has been exposed, Susan finally reveals her so-called real identity.
I know what you're thinking, and you're wrong. My real name is Amber Valentine. I'm a private bodyguard, and your father hired me to protect you.
Bodyguard. You, please.
That's funny, because the way I see it, without me, you would currently be crashed in the Alps right now. Or you'd be laying in a morgue with a hole burned in your throat. You little spoiled piece of shit.
Why would my father hire somebody like you?
Because he trusted me. And for whatever fucking reason, he loved you. Didn't even want you to know I was watching you. So he's the one that made me come up with this whole loser Penny Morgan bullshit. Look, he wanted you to take over the business. He's just afraid you were going to get yourself killed. So if you want to live and you want to unload that bomb, you stick with me.
Susan's convincing acting, combined with the fact that she just saved Raina's life, makes Raina temporarily accept her as a personal bodyguard. Not long after, the plane finally lands safely in Budapest. At this moment, Susan is completely in character, strictly following the duties of a private bodyguard. Anyone who dares to approach Raina recklessly, she will take them down without hesitation.
Anton!
Ouch!
Anton is part of my security team, psycho.
Yeah, well, guess what? I don't like his face.
Okay, Jesus, let's just calm down, okay?
Does he not look like a bag of dicks?
Enough. Can see why my father liked you now. Amber is my hired bodyguard. Be more like her.
And your head better not have broken my fucking phone.
By this point, Susan thinks she has completely gained Raina's trust. After sending Raina back to her hotel room, she excitedly activates the listening device on her body, preparing to tell the CIA that she has reached the target. But she unexpectedly discovers Raina had already installed hidden cameras in her room. With no other choice, she can only go outside to report the situation. But she never expects her contact has actually followed her all the way from America. It turns out, to prevent exposing her identity, Susan turned off all communication devices. While getting close to Raina, the CIA was worried something might happen, so they sent Nancy to track her down. But what nobody expected was, while the two are talking, Raina suddenly appears behind them. Now, the identity Susan worked so hard to create seems to be completely exposed. How will Susan explain the identity of her informant and get the information she needs from Raina? In the next episode, we will continue the story.